Hello. Every time. What is that? Hello. No.
When you're smiling, the whole...
And welcome back. Welcome back to my channel. First off, apologies. Hubby is doing things with the shed outside that's involving power tools. So if you can hear that, I apologise. The tumble dryer is also on. I apologise. I mean, it's just daily life, isn't it? We all live in these situations, don't we? So last time you saw me make a jumpsuit for Annie, my younger daughter, and next time you're going to see me make an outfit for my older daughter, who wants me to make her an outfit for a concert that she's going to in January. However, I do have a teeny little window to fit in a quick sneaky little project for myself, which is a bit sneaky. So I picked up this lovely fabric. It's kind of hard to show you on screen. It's corduroy. It's corduroy, and it's coming up much greener on screen, but it's actually more of a sort of beige, greenish beige, very sort of not khaki. Khaki's in my books too dark, but I think Americans would call it khaki. Anyway, it's a lovely, really fine needle cord, and I'm quite excited about it. And what I've decided to make with it is this little 1970s pattern for this little pinafore dress type thing, because I think that'll be super cute, and obviously it'll be a really good layering piece for autumn, winter, spring. Now, I'm pretty sure this pattern is 1970s because it has to be, the earliest it can be is 1971, because I can't find a date on it, but it says it's 35 pence. 35 pence it says on it. Now, for those of you who know, 1971, is that right? 1970-71 is when Britain changed over to decimalisation. So before that, it would have had like 1 in 6 on it or something. So the fact that it says 35p means that it has to be 71 at the earliest, really, I would say. The other great thing with this pattern is it is what is termed a plus size pattern, in that it's a bust 46. And as fortune would have it, I am, in fact, a bust 46. Now, I'm going to myth bust here, right off the bat. They were not all smaller in the past. The reason it's difficult to find vintage patterns in bigger sizes is because they were all used. They were used, cut up, not fit for purpose any longer. So it's survival bias. The ones that survive are the smaller ones because not so many people use them. It's the same with dresses and things. The bigger sizes got worn, passed down, handed on, cut up and made into other things, whereas the tiny small things that people wore when they were young and going to parties and things like that are the ones that survive. So it seems like, oh, you only ever find vintage in tiny sizes, everybody must have been smaller. No, survival bias. So unusually, I picked this up on Facebook Marketplace, a slightly larger size vintage pattern, which is really exciting. I don't need to do any alterations. I have quite a few vintage patterns, and you can still use them if you're prepared to do alterations and grade the pattern, but it's quite nice not to have to bother doing that. So I'm going to make a start on this. One of the options seems to have belt loops. I may or may not put belt loops on. I'll see how I feel. And it's got the blouse pattern is included with it, so I might do that at some point, but let's get started. So those of you who have ever stood next to me will know that I am a wee shorty pants. So I've measured where I want this to come down to because the pattern is too long for me, and I've taken that to the edge of the fabric. Also, the pattern suggests it has a front seam, and I don't really want a seam down the front, so I've taken away the seam allowance and I'm pinning it on the fold. I think that'll be better. Also, it looks like whoever had this pattern before me was also a wee shorter patch, because the back has already been taken up almost to the exact right place, which is great. So that's already done for me, so I can fit that on, and they both fit beautifully on this little bit of fabric. Now, the pattern does not have pockets, and as we know, that just will not do. But instead of putting side pockets in, because I don't really want to ruin the line of it, because it is quite close, neater fitting, I'm going to pop a couple of patch pockets on the front, I think, just somewhere to stick my phone, really. And I think about the size of the pattern envelope will be perfect. So I'm drafting my own little front patch pockets. On a slightly different tack now, and I have finished a coatigan that I started knitting back in November, and it's time to block it. So normally I would hand wash these things, but this thing's quite big and chunky, so I actually just did it on a wool cycle in the washing machine because that was easier than trying to manhandle it myself. I've lost my blocking mats. I think they got left behind in Scotland in the move like nearly 10 years ago. So ever since then I've been blocking on towels. So I just pin it out to the towel, first one sleeve, and then I will move on to the second sleeve, obviously with help from the cats, always with help from the cats. Then we'll sit down, have a cup of tea, and then we'll come back and do the main body of it. So this has been knitted all in one piece from the bottom up to the armpits, which is great, but it does mean that I have to kind of block it all in one piece as well. So it's just a case of finding where the sides should be and pinning them down, pinning the bottom down, making sure it's all spread out nice and flat, pinning down the front edges. The front edges really want to curl, which is annoying. So I'll get them all pinned down nice and flat. And I'm going to twist it round because I don't like stretching over. That's really bad for my back. I'm going to twirl it round and put the other side down, make sure the buttons overlap, the button edges overlap, the hood things in the right place and everything, and get that all pinned down nice and neat. And then I'll put it on an airer to dry. Also, I've just come through to the kitchen because I thought, I really need a cup of tea. And I have found the cup of tea that I started making when I first came downstairs. Oh, a good hour or so ago. Yeah. I'm guessing that's going to be cold and fairly stewed by now. I think I might need to... Yeah, it's cold. I think I might need to restart that cup of tea. Brain. Now I'm marking out all the pattern markings for the darts and things. I've cut it right sides together, so at this point I'm marking on the wrong side of the fabric, which is great. And then I'll cut in all the little pattern notches for matching things up. They do really help. And then I'm actually going to draw in the legs of the dart, particularly this weird curvy French dart that's going on there, which is really quite strange. I've not done one of them before, so yeah, that it's easier if I can actually see what I'm doing when I'm putting it together. Right, my lovelies. So it's been a few days since I did anything on this little pinafore dress, so I'm going to get on with some of that today. I've marked out where the darts need to be. I have the pockets ready to go. I'm going to do little patch pockets on the front because I think that would be better for the line of it rather than putting side pockets in the side seams, because I don't want that bulk there. And don't know if I've got anything else to tell you before I get started. So let's get started. Right, so I'm pinning together the darts. Because I've drawn the dart legs in, I can see, so I make sure the pin goes in the line on one side and comes out the line on the other side to make sure that they're exactly right together. I'm starting with the nice, easy, straightforward ones at this point. Now actually, because the French dart on the front is such a strange shape, I've decided to baste it before I sew it on the machine, just to make sure that it's sitting really well before I go ahead and sew that up finally. Okay, time to change the setup and get the sewing machine out. Oh, turn my stool around. I must get myself a swivel chair. Now on the back, the dart is actually two-ended, so I start at the widest point of the dart and down to the end, because I like to sew right off the end rather than go forward and back at the ends of a dart, because you're less likely to get a little tuck or anything. It's a smoother finish. So then I turn it round and go back to the widest point of the dart and sew off of the end again. And that way we're not getting any little tucks. And we'll take the pins out, and we will just, what I do to finish off a dart is tie it up. I just do a couple of knots. Sometimes you need a pin to separate the thread. So separate the back and front thread and then tie it up with a couple of knots, and I'll do that at both ends, and it just gives a much smoother finish. And then we're going to turn around, move our stool back round, and using the tailor's ham, that's what that funny little thing is, we use the tailor's ham to press curves, because it just makes it a lot easier. So we're going to press the ends of those darts over the tailor's ham and press them down. It's up to you if you press down the way or up the way, but obviously whichever way you decide on one side, do the same on the other side. And the tailor's ham is just such a brilliant little tool for making sure your curves are nice. Oops, I've not taken out the basting there, so let's take that basting out first. Now I'm carefully going to iron that down the way as well. The fabric, because it's a curved dart, the fabric does kind of want to curve in strange ways, so it just takes a little bit of extra care and attention when pressing it down, and it should be all lovely and smooth on the other side. Okay, realistically that's all I'm going to get done for just now. That's all those darts sewn, pressed, excellent already. So next time I take this project out, I can put the patch pockets on, because I want to do that before I sew the backs and fronts together, because it just makes it nice and easy to work on a flat thing rather than a 3D thing. But yeah, it's about 20 past 12. I need to have something in my stomach before I take my next lot of meds, and then it'll be nap time. I would have got a little bit more done, but I had a phone call from a friend in amongst all that, which, while it's absolutely lovely to catch up and to chat, I don't know about you guys, but I find chatting on the phone for any length of time quite exhausting, actually quite tiring. So although it was a lovely catch up, it took energy. So that's me. I'm going to pause there just now. I've put the sewing machine away and turned the iron off, and I'm going to go for my nap, and we'll see if I might feel like doing a bit more later, or it might be knitting later. So see you later. So today post-nap activity is going to be a bit of knitting. So I took this, you saw me blocking this out onto the towels. I took this off the towels and I sewed it all together. However, even after blocking, this front edge still wants to naturally curl up, which is annoying me. So what I've done is I had a little bit of this yarn left that does the inside of the turn at the inside of the hood. So I've made a little facing, and so it's stopping this turning in on itself. So I've got the other side still to do with the buttonholes. So that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to sit in my chair. So I'm going to sit in my chair and do this evening while I watch my quiz shows. It's after, mind you, it's not quite time yet because I didn't sleep that long. So I'll watch a little bit of All Creatures Great and Small first, and then it's Pointless, House of Games, Strictly It Takes Two, and then sometimes I watch something after that, but normally it's bath time after that. That's my little routine. I have nothing but predictable. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to sit and do that little bit of knitting. I have got something else on my pins just now, because while I was blocking that, I'd started something else, but I want to get this finished. So I'm going to get on with that just now. I had a lovely nap. Oh, I had a lovely nap. It was probably longer than it should have been, but oh, it's so cozy. And I had a cat snuggled in at the back of my knees. It was just lovely. Oh, anyway, knitting. I've hit a snag. So I've got this far, which is not enough, and I've only got this much wool left. So I'm going to put this aside until I decide what to do, whether or not I'm going to buy another ball, which would be really frustrating, or do something else as a facing. So I'll just need to think about that for a little while and make a decision on that. In the meantime, I'm going to get my other knitting out, I think, because it's still only 6 o'clock and it's just about to start House Games, so I need to be knitting while I'm watching. Good morning, whatever it is. Yeah, we'll not go through this again. So it's Friday morning, and normally on a Friday morning I go out for an hour or so with a friend. However, my poor friend is poorly this morning, so I find myself with an unexpected free hour, which is quite nice, because I don't often get much actual craft work done on a Friday, because going out with my friend normally takes most of my energy. So like, I'll do a bit of knitting later, but that's it, and maybe some editing. But I've got a little sneaky free hour. So what I'm going to do is press on with this little, words have escaped me, pinafore type thing. So I think what I might do is put the zip in the back seam, and put the patch pockets on the front, and see how we're going from there. Right, so after some ferreting about in my drawers, it turns out that the only zip that I've got that's long enough is an invisible zipper in this cream colour. So I think what I'll do is a lapped zipper. Actually, that's not an invisible zipper. Is it? No. Ignore me. But I think I might still do a lapped zipper, because it's cream and we're going into this sort of beige. It's the best we could do, but I don't really want it to be like fully on show, so I will still do a lapped zipper, I think, which is slightly different from the way I showed you the last time I do a zipper. So I will walk you through that as well. Right, so first things first, I'm going to put the backs right sides together. And you'll see that I've got a little, I don't know if you can see it, but I've got a marking where they suggested the zipper go to, but I will just double check that that is where my zipper goes to, which I've buried under here. Okay, so Yeah, it's about perfect actually. It's about perfect. So I will join the seam from that point on down to the bottom and sew that, and then I'll iron the whole seam allowance back to allow me to put the zipper in. Okay, we're going to press the seam open. I even managed to remember to leave a bigger seam allowance this time. I mean, I'm just on fire today. Okay, and then I'm going to follow that up. So this ironing board being attached to my sewing thing is wonderful. It's just the only downside is it's a very tiny ironing board, but it is just for seams and things, which is just like absolutely awesome. So we're going to carry on ironing down that seam allowance back. I mean, yes, I am just eyeballing it. Should I be measuring it? Probably. Am I going to measure it? No. Now I'm going to take the zip and pin it, sorry, I'm just moving my pins, pin it in so that I'm sewing along with my zipper foot really close to the teeth on one side. I've just pinned it to the ironing board cover. Dope. I've switched over to my zipper foot, which is this one, which allows me to get as close as possible to the teeth of the zipper. And I'm just going to sew along as close as I possibly can to the teeth of the zipper there. It's kind of tricky to set up my camera so that you can see what I'm doing, but there we go. Okay, and then next we take this side and we pull it over so that it's mostly closed and you can still feel the zipper teeth through the fabric. We're going to pin down at the side of the zipper teeth there so that the zip becomes concealed. Okay, so we swap the zipper foot over to the other side and we put it down so the zip's in there. We can feel the teeth there at the side of the zipper foot, and we're going to sew right along where we can feel the teeth of the zipper. Okay, and there we have it, a lapped zipper. Now unfortunately, because this is cord, it's doing funny things to the cord. It's making it look puckered, but it's actually not puckered. It's the cord doing strange things. It'll hopefully be fine once it's ironed. But there we go, zips in there. Ta-da! Right, so that's as far as we got at this point because the weekend transpired to be a little bit of a washout health-wise. So we're gonna pause it there. We will continue next week, and I've got the lining of the pinafore to finish, and then put those two bits together, and obviously we've got the coat again to finish. So, but I think we made quite good progress this week. I got quite a bit done, prepping up the pinafore and knitting on the coat again. So I would love to know, let me know in the comments, share if you want to, how you've managed to use your spoons this week, and have you managed to use your spoons to do something that brings you joy, that brings you fun, and have you used your spoons sensibly this week? I mean, if you're anything like me, that's debatable. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. But from me for this week, that's it. And catch up next week, and I'll hopefully be able to show you the finished garment of the pinafore, and hopefully also the finished garment of the coatigan. And actually it's looking like they're going to go quite nicely together, so I'm quite excited about that. So bye for now. Thank you for joining me as always, and I really appreciate you guys being here, and I hope that you are safe and well, you and your loved ones, and I will see you again next week. Love from Liz.
Never saw the sun shining so bright, never saw things going so right.